The seventh center of consciousness, the cosmic consciousness center. You will observe that your growth towards the highest centers of consciousness may fall naturally into three different phases. First phase, as your consciousness begins to dwell more and more in the love center and cornucopia center, you will begin to develop a multi centered perception that will enable you to see all of your thoughts and actions from each of the first five centers. Number two, continuing this multi centered awareness, you learn to witness yourself on the detached conscious awareness center, the sixth center. At this level, there is no longer a feeling of lower or higher consciousness. It is all the same from the conscious awareness center. And then, number three, you go behind the conscious awareness center to the selfless unitive space of the cosmic consciousness center. The sixth center of consciousness is characterized by being aware of yourself. There is your essence, your conscious awareness, and there is the daily drama of your body, your senses, and your rational mind. You see all of your drama with insight and perspective. Although this is a peaceful, beautiful center of consciousness, there is still duality. There is still a fine line of separation between you and the world. On the seventh level of consciousness, one is catapulted from self awareness into pure awareness. In other words, one is no longer witnessing oneself. The body, mind, senses, and conscious awareness are not separated. In this center of consciousness, one does not experience security, sensations, power, love, and cornucopia. One is security, sensations, power, love, and the fullness of life. The highest state of consciousness is attained by reprogramming what is called the quote unquote self. One's thought activity is calmed. The direction of perception has shifted from subject object manipulation through a phase of loving acceptance to a unity with everything in the environment. To understand this distinction between experiencing something and being able or being something. Let me repeat that. To understand this distinction between experiencing something and being something, consider what happens when you have an intense sexual climax. Up until the time of orgasm, you have been experiencing the sexual sensations such as increasing warmth, pressure, and stimulation of your sexual organs. You are experiencing sex, but at the moment of sexual climax, you are no longer the experiencer. You may no longer be conscious of yourself enjoying sexual happenings. During the moments of an intense orgasm, you are the experience. At that moment, you may feel a total oneness with your sexual partner, for there is no longer the experience of you as a separate consciousness. At the cosmic consciousness level, one can function with enormous effectiveness because the screens that limit one's receptiveness have been eliminated. One is now tuned to the finer nuances of the surrounding world. One is open to the broad spectrum of all the finer cues that the world has been sending all of the time, but which you were previously not but which were previously not picked up on by a consciousness occupied by security, sensation, and power on the lower three levels, and love and cornucopia and witnessing on the intermediate levels. And now, at the end of one's journey to higher consciousness, one has become a godlike being. One has truly achieved one's birthright. As a fully conscious being, one is optimally perceptive, optimally wise, and optimally effective. Because one has transcended all personal boundaries and experiences no separation from anyone or anything in the world, serving quote unquote others is the only thing to do in life. For there are no quote unquote others. Everything is experienced from a quote us space. Perhaps a word of advice may be helpful here. The seventh center is extremely difficult to attain. Out of the 4 billion people in this world, this book was published in 1971, there may be only about 100 people who are consistently in this center. Achieving it usually requires a detached lifestyle and a long period of intense consciousness growth practice. Even preferences must be eliminated to reach this center. The author of this book generates his experience of life using the fourth, fifth, and sixth centers and enjoys life continuously. This does not mean he is 100% free of addictions, but he often goes many weeks without any separating emotional feelings. When you have eliminated about 99% of your addictive programming, the remaining amount will probably be very subtle and will not interfere with happiness. When you have done the inner work required to get to this level of effectiveness, you know exactly which pathway or method to use whenever you experience the beginning of an addictive sequence. Within seconds or minutes, you work through whatever security, sensation, or power addiction you are triggering, and then you are right back at the love or the cornucopia center. These centers are totally adequate to enable you to live a happy, fulfilled, wise, effective, and enjoyable life. It is worthwhile knowing about the Cosmic Consciousness Center, but do not let it become another addiction. If you work hard to use the fourth, fifth, and sixth centers of consciousness in processing and interpreting your energies and the energies of the world around you, you will experience a deep peace and enjoyment within your heart that is wholly enough.